Friends, gather round. Let's talk tariffs. Specifically, Trump's tariffs. Because nothing says presidential like a good old-fashioned trade war. As of today, March 7th, 2025, our commander-in-tweet has slapped a 20% tariff on all Chinese imports. That's right, everything. From those plastic back-scratchers you inexplicably love to the rare earth minerals needed for your smartphones. Trump claims this is to protect American jobs and punish China for unfair trade practices. He wants to bring back manufacturing jobs, reduce the trade deficit, and stick it to Beijing. The problem? Tariffs are like that friend who always tries to fix things with a hammer. Sure, they might work on a loose nail, but use it on everything and you'll end up with more damage than good. This isn't Trump's first rodeo with tariffs. He's already hit China with $250 billion worth of them, along with tariffs on steel, aluminum, and even our allies in Canada and Mexico. The result? Retaliatory tariffs, higher prices for consumers, and a whole lot of uncertainty for businesses. So, will this new round of tariffs make America great again, or are we just shooting ourselves in the foot again? Buckle up, folks, this is going to be a bumpy ride. China, unsurprisingly, isn't taking this lying down. They've hit back with their own tariffs, targeting American goods like soybeans, pork, and even those iconic Harley-Davidson motorcycles. The message is clear: you punch us, we punch back. This tit-for-tat tariff battle has consequences. American farmers who rely heavily on exports to China are feeling the pain. Businesses are grappling with higher costs and disrupted supply chains. And consumers, well, get ready to pay more for just about everything. Remember, tariffs are essentially taxes on imported goods. When those goods become more expensive, businesses have two choices: absorb the cost or pass it on to you, the consumer. And let's be real, they're not going to take one for the team. So, your next iPhone? Pricier. That new TV you've been eyeing? Yeah, that'll cost you too. Even your morning cup of coffee might get hit with a tariff-induced price hike. History has a funny way of repeating itself, especially when it comes to bad economic policies. Remember the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930? No? Well, it was a disaster. It raised tariffs on over 20,000 goods, sparking a global trade war and deepening the Great Depression. Now, before you start prepping your bunker, economists are quick to point out that the Smoot-Hawley tariffs weren't the sole cause of the Great Depression, but they certainly didn't help. In fact, they made a bad situation much worse. The lesson here: tariffs can have unintended and far-reaching consequences. They can disrupt global trade, hurt economic growth, and ultimately harm the very people they're supposed to protect. It's not just history that's sounding the alarm bells. Economists are pretty much unanimous in their assessment of Trump's tariffs. They're a bad idea, like really bad. They argue that tariffs will lead to higher prices, slower economic growth, and job losses. Yes, job losses. The logic is simple. When you make imported goods more expensive, people buy less of them. That hurts businesses that rely on those imports, leading to layoffs. And while some domestic industries might benefit from reduced competition, the overall impact on the economy is negative. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Sure, you might get a temporary burst of flames, but ultimately, you're just making things worse. Section 5. The consumer crunch. Let's talk about you, the American consumer. You know, the backbone of the economy, the one who keeps the whole damn thing afloat with your insatiable appetite for stuff. Well, get ready to tighten your belt because tariffs are coming for your wallet. We've already seen prices for things like washing machines, solar panels, and even beer go up because of Trump's previous tariffs. And with this new round of tariffs on Chinese goods, the pain is only going to get worse. Everything from clothes and shoes to electronics and toys will likely become more expensive. So, that dream vacation you've been saving up for might have to wait a little longer. That new car you need? Better start carpooling. Tariffs are coming for your hard-earned cash, and they're not playing around. Section 6. Can tariffs really bring back jobs? Trump's main argument for imposing tariffs is that they'll bring back manufacturing jobs to the US. It's a seductive promise, especially for those who feel left behind by globalization. But is it realistic? Economists say no. The reality is that manufacturing jobs aren't coming back, not on a large scale anyway. Technology and automation have changed the game. Factories are becoming more efficient, requiring fewer workers. And even if some companies do decide to move production back to the US, they'll likely rely on automation, not a surge in hiring. So while tariffs might protect some existing jobs in the short term, They won't bring back the manufacturing boom of the past. It's a false promise, a nostalgic pipe dream that ignores the realities of the global economy. Section 7. The Global Trade Conundrum. The world is a complex web of interconnected economies. Countries rely on each other for goods, services, and investments. Trade, when done fairly, can be mutually beneficial. But when one country throws a tantrum and starts slapping tariffs on everything, it disrupts the entire system. Trump's tariffs have already strained relationships with key allies like Canada and Mexico. They've also angered China, leading to a tit-for-tat trade war that shows no signs of abating. This escalating trade tension creates uncertainty and volatility in the global market, which can hurt businesses and consumers worldwide. It's like playing Jenga with the global economy. You might be able to pull out a few blocks without causing too much damage, but eventually, the whole thing is going to come crashing down. Section 8. Is this the path to American greatness? Trump campaigned on a promise to make America great again. But his obsession with tariffs seems to be doing the opposite. Instead of making America great, they're making it more isolated, more expensive, and more vulnerable. The truth is, there are no easy solutions to complex problems like trade imbalances and job losses. Tariffs are a blunt instrument, a sledgehammer approach to issues that require nuance and diplomacy. They might appeal to a sense of nationalism and protectionism, but they ultimately harm the very people they're supposed to help. So no, tariffs are not the path to American greatness. They're a detour, a wrong turn that could lead us down a dangerous and uncertain road. Section 9. A trade war on all fronts? So, what's the end game here? Does Trump have a master plan for winning this self-inflicted trade war? Or are we just along for the ride, bracing ourselves for the inevitable economic fallout? It's hard to say for sure. Trump's approach to trade policy seems to be driven more by impulse and ego than by any coherent strategy. He sees tariffs as a sign of strength, a way to assert American dominance on the world stage. But in reality, they're a sign of weakness, a desperate attempt to cling to a bygone era when America was the undisputed economic powerhouse. The world has changed, and so too must America's approach to trade. Instead of resorting to protectionist measures that harm everyone, we need to engage in fair and open trade that benefits all parties involved. Otherwise, we risk starting a trade war that no one can win.